concerning the nation of Zimbabwe. As a prophet of God, I hope the president of this nation will hear this, because God has allowed me to say it. And the Lord spoke to me very well that can you fast and pray for one major thing: credible, free, fair, peaceful election. Listen to all the candidates that are competing. All of them, they are talking of a new Zimbabwe, a new era. It's very true. I want to bring a new era and a new Zimbabwe that will be very prosperous. And I want to bring a serious turnaround to the economy of Zimbabwe. A serious turnaround to the economy of Zimbabwe. But there is a condition that is there which I want you to pray for. Credible, peaceful, free and fair election. Then the people of Zimbabwe shall see that Zimbabwe. Politicians are sensing it. And even I spoke and I said this election shall be the hotly contested election ever in the history of Zimbabwe. And we are all seeing it. I salute the president. I salute all the candidates and even the current president with all honor. But I say, hear the word of God. Politicians that are battling for this position, please let there be credible, free, fair, peaceful election. Now let me explain why. The Lord said, if there is going to be a story that is not in peaceful words that I have spoken, Zimbabwe is going to have a turnaround. If there is no credible, free and fair election, there will be a turnaround 360 degrees into poverty. There are two turnarounds coming. One that will be a new Zimbabwe that is prosperous, and another one that will be a new Zimbabwe that is west. I saw if that is allowed, and there will be noise in the courts, and the people saying there was rigging, there was cheating, and the government does not release and avail free, fair, credible, peaceful election. I am telling you. But God said today, before this state election, let them sort their house in order, especially ZEC and the chairperson of ZEC. Please, with your team, for the sake of the people of Zimbabwe, can you please make sure that there are fair elections? This election can be peaceful. Listen, it can be free, but is it fair? That's what God said. They must be fair. It must be peaceful. It must be free, which I am seeing is there at a certain degree. But the fairness. So don't have an election where others will say we were not treated equal. Because this time Zimbabwe will be abandoned. I'm telling you. The ZEC board and your leaders, I honor you, I salute you. You are doing a wonderful work. But please let this election be fair. So anyone who is going to win and those that are going to be defeated, everyone must agree. Then this turnaround and the new Zimbabwe will come. If you refuse This country, it will not be easy to rule this country. They will go to the west, they will go to the east, they will go to the south, they will go to the north, but there will be no progress. There will be no results, I'm telling you.
State media, newspapers, TV had such an incredible unfairness that nearly did not broadcast speeches by the opposition candidate. Also, the unclearness in the time of the preparation of the election about the printing of the ballot sheets and all such questions. Also, some intimidation, especially in the strongholds of the president. In the old classical way. But on the other side, it was an election where was a freedom of expression, where the candidates could have their rallies without disturbances. It was peaceful. So anyway, it was a large progress compared to the former elections.
Because if that does not happen, listen again, I speak. I saw in that vision 5 things that happened. The 3 I will not speak because they are too sensitive. I can only speak if I am to meet President one-on-one. Because it's very confidential. But what I am speaking now is for public consumption because you will see that poverty, I'm telling you. What will happen in Zimbabwe is there will be a youth uprising. It's a race and a battle between the elderly and the young. And the young want a fair election. If they are going to be defeated, let them be defeated fairly. Because I saw like a spirit that entered them. Where they were not afraid, there were people with guns, but they were not afraid.
And joining us now live from Harare is Pindai Dube, a journalist from our sister channel, African News. Pindai, you're there on the ground. What more can you tell us about these clashes?
Yes, thank you. There were a lot of clashes in downtown Harare. You know, it started in the morning when a group of MDC supporters, the opposition, approached the hotel where the votes are being counted. What they want exactly is that they are not happy. They believe elections were rigged by ZANU-PF. They were not expecting that the outcome, especially in the parliamentary elections, which have been announced. You know, during the campaigns, there were a lot of people who attended the MDC rallies, especially in Harare and other rural areas where MDC, where ZANU-PF is stronghold. So this is how it happened. They just came and the police confronted them. There were clashes from there.
Yeah, and so we talk about these allegations of vote rigging. Is there any base to these claims?
Yeah, because what happened initially, before the elections, the opposition demanded the voters' roll, and it was not provided by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. And also the observers yesterday, both from this SADC Africa Union, they said that although the elections were initially peaceful, they believe that there was intimidation, especially in rural areas where ZANU-PF is strong, where the traditional leaders were intimidating rural voters. And also, they believe that the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission took time to release the V forms which are used at polling station. And also the opposition claims that the figures which are being released are different from the ones which are at the polling stations.
Yeah, and Pindai, when you were there on the street and you saw the heavy-handedness of the soldiers, was there a feeling that Mnangagwa is actually not keeping his promise of stepping away from, Mugabe's rule, that this is a setback?
Yes, definitely. That's how people felt. They said this is worse. Mugabe also, some were saying Mugabe was a dictator, but he has never sent soldiers in the streets of Harare to kill them. So they believe, when I spoke to some MDC supporters, they said it's better to die than to live under Mnangagwa, who has shown that he doesn't tolerate the opposition by killing them in the streets. So they are very bitter, and people believe this will worsen the Zimbabwe situation, which had free and fair elections, by sending soldiers to crush the opposition voices. So, but now the police claim that 3 people were killed, but the opposition and the other civic society group, even newspapers, independent newspapers in Zimbabwe, they said about 6 people were killed, but although the police and government claims only 3.
Take it off. Don't run. Take it off. Put it on me. Put it on me. Take cover.
What we wanted as Zimbabweans, we must be liberated. This Zimbabwe was liberated by a gun. It should come back by a gun.
We're in the crossfire. Come down. No.
And then the last thing that I saw, God showed me, there was a map of Zimbabwe and the people were about to go into an election. I think I have repeated it. And there were 2 keys, a golden key and a silver one. But now when I saw the silver one, because the people were the ones, they were candidates that were there. These 23, they were in a queue. And they were waiting to be given authority by people to go and pick the golden key. Because the silver one now, especially last night, it had rust. So that's when the Holy Spirit said, this one, it's a key, it will be picked. But it's a key of poverty. So for the golden key of Zimbabwe to be picked, the one that shall be given that key by the votes of the people is the one that will be allowed to pick that golden key. Whoever he is or she is. But that one, it's not good to pick it. But it can still be picked if there is not going to be fair. Peace is there. To a certain degree. And the freeness is now there to a certain degree, but is there fairness? You politicians don't say I didn't tell you. This country is going to be very difficult to run. It will be a desert, it will be isolated from the community of nations. It's not going to be integrated. We will be isolated, we will be an orphan. But if there is going to be a story that is not in peaceful words that I have spoken, Zimbabwe is going to have a turnaround. If there is no credible, free and fair election, there will be a turnaround 360 degrees into poverty. There are 2 turnarounds coming. One that will be a new Zimbabwe that is prosperous, and another one that will be a new Zimbabwe that is western.
today. We turn our attention now north of our borders to Zimbabwe, and more specifically what looks like soaring prices at the shops. Joining us now via Skype is Zimbabwean economist Eddie Cross. Eddie, and you raised your concerns about the inflation that was sort of sneaking into the system there. And I've got to tell you, I was at a hotel last week and a ham sandwich was costing me 145 rand. What's going on?
Well, the fundamental problem, Peter, is that we've been running a fiscal deficit. And our fiscal deficit in 2017 was $2.5 billion US, which is about 15% of GDP. So we're having to print money to meet this deficit, and this is resulting in the inflation. And I expect inflation in Zimbabwe to reach inflationary levels by the end of the year.
So you're saying that in 3 months' time, are we going back to the levels of 2008 and some countries in South America?
No, but it will be hyper. Hyperinflation is 50% or more in a 12-month period. And I think currently our inflation is around about 30%, but it's accelerating. The black market rate for the US dollar today is 180, 190. For the bond notes, about 145. And these rates are running.
So what can government do? I mean, President Mnangagwa has just taken over the office, and he's promised good times, but it looks like this is probably going to be his biggest hurdle in the coming days.
Well, he's just returned from China, and I think, frankly, he's walked into a storm. He hasn't yet appointed a cabinet. I just hope that the cabinet will meet our expectations, but he's got to put some people in charge now who really know what to do, because this needs management. And today in Zimbabwe, we have widespread fuel shortages. We have an impending shortage of bread, and I think that's in many fields. And I think that's one of the things that's driving the prices. You're having to buy foreign exchange on the black market and then import your goods, and that's driving up the prices.
Ndaisobhadhara $5 kuti ndiende kumba netrade. Uruzwa? $5 kutenga zviri tu. But ukanitarisira nhasi $7.75 ndokuti $8 patiro twiri twotuttu. Uruzona asi ndaitenga nechi nefa kuti ati zvino zvatonikwirira nge$3 asi kubasa kwangu ndirisenza anatowedzewo $3 nhasi ba. Nondopuwa yangu yemazuva asi zviro zviri kukwira.
Alright, muri kuzvoonawo sezve mapuraises ari kukwira iyi?
Mapuraizi zvanyanya because mari yacho hakuna. Puraizi inokwira iwo uri kuhora kana 250 kana vamwe vari kutowana ma150 kana mawanchi. Haachakwanisa kutenga shuga, haachakwanisa kutenga kana kuendesa vana kuchikoro, mari yacho inenge yangoperera kugrosari. Kana ivo vari kutotengesa mari satichatombozvidi because toziva kuti munyika medu hatifanira kutenga mari. Wakutotenga bhondi racho kuri kuti utorishandisa kutotenga. Ameno pamwe ndo pay yacho here kana kuti titi chii, because hatichanyatsoziva bosi paangonzi pay zvinhu zvacho zvaakungotiwo pay kukwira pane zvese hatichaziva zvichatinakira.
If there is going to be a story that is not in peaceful words that I have spoken, Zimbabwe is going to have a turnaround. If there is no credible, free and fair election, there will be a turnaround 360 degrees into poverty. There are two turnarounds coming. One that will be a new Zimbabwe that is prosperous, and another one that will be a new Zimbabwe that is where politicians don't say, I didn't tell you. This country is going to be very difficult to run. It will be a desert, it will be isolated from the community of nations. It's not going to be integrated. We will be isolated, we will be an orphan.
Manje nyaya iripo isusu hatisi kufara nebasa iri ratiri kuita hatitoride handimukuzvinzwa totoshaya basa rakanaka rekuita. That's why we are forced kuti tipinde mustreet tichita sei tichichinja mari. Otherwise dai maindustries aita sei avhurwa tagonawo kuenda chinoshanda munhu nemunhu basa rake rinoenderana nedzidzo yake yaakaita.
Isusu tiri kutaura kuti parodhi patiri hatipafarire, asi hapana chokuita nokuti munyika medu hamuna mari, hamuna mabasa. Saka isusu wanai zvamunotiitira tiite, tibve murodhi, hatimude murodhi nokuti hazvina nhaka kuvana vedu. Tinotodawo mabasa asi hakuna, hatina chatingaita, tinotouyawo pano.